This is Doreen McCaffrey from Holistic Wellness from Within, and welcome to this episode today that I'm going to do about the power of water. And I want to just explain to you that this was just so in depth that I really didn't feel like I could do it justice in an Instagram video. In fact, I know I couldn't. So I knew it was going to take me a while to explain all the elements and all the things that affect water. And yet, if we don't understand these things, our mineral balancing program might not work. And it's really likely that we're not getting hydrated well enough to get the minerals into our bodies that we need to. And so my job as a practitioner is not just to give you a program, but to dig into why your program might not be working, to help you understand why it might not be working, and to help you know what you can do to get your mineral balancing program to work even better. So today we're going to start off talking about water. And as you can see, I'm sharing a screen right here because I just want to tell you how powerful water is and how it's affected the consciousness of water. Yes, it has consciousness. And there was Dr. Emoto who did a lot of studies on water. And I'm going to show you a few of these things right here. You can always go to this site, look up Dr. Emoto or water consciousness, or even just the power of words in water, and you'll be able to find his information, his site. So when we scroll down through here, he talks about the messages in water. So what he did was expose water to various words and feelings, and this is what he saw. When water was given love and gratitude, this is what it looked like under a microscope. Pretty amazing. It's actually beautiful. But when he told the water, "You disgust me," this is what it turned into. So the molecules of the water are now changing based on nothing but what we would call quantum physics. Thoughts affect how we heal. Thoughts affect how water responds. And I'm going to teach you a real simple thing you can do during this video today to actually enhance the ability of your water to be more healing. Now, when you go down through here, again, eternal, look at this beautiful crystal of water. Peace is very beautiful. Evil, however, has a very almost like evil eye looking to it. And then thank you has this beautiful picture. So there was just so many things you could do with water to see what it would do when you exposed it to some beautiful word, or even later on, we talk about music. If you play a symphony for water, you get this kind of crystal here. But if you play heavy metal, it's very chaotic and confusing. So you got to realize that what's happening in our body many times when we're listening to some of this stuff is also going to create chaos in our body and affect even the way we're able to heal. So I just wanted to share that with you here. So moving forward, you could see a lot of different things here, and you can even try this yourself. You can actually take crystals, expose them to, and I think it tells you somewhere you can figure out how to do this, but you can freeze it and then look at the way the water reacts to various words or emotions that you have given or assigned to that water. So a lot of information here. I love Dr. Bush, a little video on his information about water and memory here as well. And we'll talk about structured water in a moment as well. So I'm going to leave this up for a moment. I have some notes before me, but I just want to talk about what happens when we're dehydrated. Now, when you get into severe dehydration or depletion, water depletion, dehydration, we call it hypovolemic. It is something I hope none of us ever have to experience, but this is when you're really going to become ill. And of course, you can die from this, from dehydration, right? So a person gets pale, their skin gets very clammy, their heartbeat speeds up, they can't breathe. All those things happen because they're missing the water that they need to supply life to their body. Blood pressure will also drop. Sometimes the skin at the knees and the elbows will get blotchy. They become anxious, restless, and they usually are going, well, obviously they're going to be thirsty. Now you can be on the way to being dehydrated or need water, especially in cellular hydration, and not feel thirsty, but still not be getting the water that you need to your cells, which I'll talk about more in a moment. So yeah, eventually you get a temperature or develop a fever, the brain becomes damaged, and the organs start to, cease to work. And this is where death can actually occur. But I'm not going to talk as much about this serious dehydration that most of us are never going to get into. I'm going to talk about the more minor dehydration, or even the fact that we might be drinking the amount of water that you've been given on your program and you're still dehydrated because your cells are not getting the water. In other words, the water's passing through you, but just like sometimes your minerals pass through you and don't get into the cells, sometimes that happens with water too. In fact, it's very common. So I'm going to address some of that in this video as well. So also just knowing that things that are diuretics like alcohol certainly is very depleting. It gets rid of water, caffeine, certain medications we know, and sometimes even prescribed medications that doctors give to people as a diuretic is certainly going to cause or may cause some dehydration. So ways to increase intercellular hydration, because again, the water is going into our body. Let me talk quickly about the temperature of water. Now, I like really cold water, which is fine as long as I'm drinking water regularly, because as that water goes into my body has to heat it up before it's utilized. So I'm taking in the water, but I'm not getting the immediate benefits until the water's warmed up by my body. So if you're really dehydrated, you really need to be drinking room temperature water, or even maybe even slightly warm water, because you're going to get the benefits of that much more quickly. But we don't want the water, no matter how we're drinking it, cold or warm, to come into our bodies and just pass through us. We want the water to get into the cells. The cells have to transport the water to the organs. This is how we really become healthy. Super important that we're getting intercellular hydration. And what I learned as I've been working with my program, and I've been doing this program since 2006, I had some really big clues, and I'm not going to get into how I discovered all of that right now, but I realized that I wasn't hydrating well. And it was so astonishing to me, because how could I drink as much water as I was drinking and yet be dehydrated, at least to some level? So I wanted to definitely fix that. And so I did many things that I'm going to share with you right now that can help you get that water into your cells, because you are not going to detox if your cells are not hydrated. You're not going to feel well or have vitality or heal or assimilate the minerals that you're taking on your program. And so I don't want your program to be a waste because of one crucial element, and that is proper hydration. And again, proper hydration of the cells. So we're going to talk about making sure the cells are hydrated. So first of all, let's talk about, as I just mentioned, and we went over the power of words, what you can do at home to bring that power into your water. So during the day, and excuse me, because I'm going to be grabbing props from time to time, but during the day, I purchased this glass bottle right here. I guess you can't, now you can see it, because it's best to store bottles or water in glass whenever you can. And in this glass bottle, what I did was I put stickers on the glass in various places, and you might not be able to see them, so I'm going to share them with you. But this one says wonderful. There's a big sticker over here on the side. I don't know why I keep blurring out here. Okay, so this sticker over here on the side actually says amazing, lovely, strong, happy, beautiful, and gracious. So that's really a lot of powerful words. So I put one sticker here. There's a water down here that says blessed. And so I use this water during the day. This is where I store my water. It's in a glass bottle. I put beautiful words on it. And before I actually store my water, I do structure it. I'll show you how I do that in a moment. But anyway, this is what I use during the day. It also, and I don't care that much about this, but this particular bottle, on the bottle has markers of like, oh, by this time of the day, you should have drank this much water and so on all the way up. I don't use those because I just drink several bottles of this water a day. And I really like this. Now, I walk a lot. I walk every day. When I'm walking, I think I have it here. Maybe I don't. I might have left it in another room. I take a stainless steel bottle with me to walk. And that's because I don't want to drop this bottle. And I have dropped glass bottles before. So I learned the hard way. So when I'm at home, instead of using like just regular drinking glasses, I use that very large bottle to keep my water in. I keep it with me all day while I'm working. You could take it to work real easily. And I do make sure, again, that if I'm going to take a walk, I'm going to put it in a stainless steel bottle. It's usually a liter size bottle so that I can take that with me when I go for a walk or if I go outside to work out, because I have dropped those bottles too. And when they get dented, many times I have to throw them out, but they don't break. So that's how I store water and how I make sure that I'm drinking enough water. And for years, this is what I do. I just drink the water that I need. But let me talk about some other things that can really help you get that intracellular hydration. Okay, so putting the words on the glass. You can take notes if you like, or however you want to remember these things. Or I might be able to put these into a little handout to give you as well. Getting sun. UV infrared light exposure from sun rays from your near infrared sauna is very helpful to structuring the water in your body and getting the water into your cells. So please understand that those two things are very, very important. Then eating electrolyte rich foods. Now, this should be part of your diet already, just very mineral rich foods. And rotating those foods, as I mentioned, I like seasonal eating plans, getting various minerals throughout that season, changing them around, making sure you are maybe getting some fermented foods into your diet, things like that. But also, potassium and magnesium rich foods, etc. So that's part of your mineral balancing program anyway. If you're following that healthy eating plan, you're doing fine. And of course, you're wanting to avoid seed oils, things that are robbing your cells of water and health, because those are really bad. And I'm just gotten so picky about the seed oils because I have learned that it can take weeks and even close to a month after one exposure to a seed oil, so one meal of something with seed oil, for that seed oil to actually be cleared out of the body. Who has a month to spend detoxing from having a seed oil? It just doesn't make sense to me. And so I've gotten real picky about what I eat, where I'll eat, what I eat when I go out to restaurants, and I don't go out very often. So it's just something to think about, really trying to follow your diet closely, because we're living in a very toxic world. And so the more toxicity in our body, the more we may be robbed also of getting water into the body and into the cells and allowing the body to really heal. Now, fiber intake, getting adequate fiber, not from, eating Metamucil or other fiber of that sorts, but, making sure you're getting fiber rich foods that usually come from your vegetables. You don't have to add a bunch of other crazy, again, fiber, but that is going to help you extract more nutrients and also get those nutrients many times into the cells. Also, some exercise. Exercise helps. Strength training, some maybe lightweight hit training. You don't have to go crazy. It doesn't have to be long. Rebounding, where you're getting the lymph nodes actually moving, which I did a video a while back where I was jumping on the trampoline because it's one of my favorite exercises to do. So getting some especially, it also mentions resistance training because that can increase cellular hydration. So again, exercise is going to help. Now, diversing your salt intake. So let me grab my other props. These are the two salts I really like to recommend. One is called Baja Gold. And this salt, and I know the words are probably backwards to you here, is very rich in minerals and and the reason I recommend the salts I'm showing you right now is I know they're clean sources of salt. So Himalayan sea salt has now been found, there's a lot of nickel in it. So sometimes a salt that could be healthy for you, even the way it's mined, means that it's been contaminated. So this is one of my favorite salts. You can put a pinch of this in your water as well as use it on your food. And then I also have real salt. And this comes from Utah, and it comes from the same place. They mine it from the same place all the time. It's a very clean salt as well. So these are the two sea salts that I really like to use, Baja Gold or real salt. And just to sprinkle them in your water. You don't even have to taste them. But remember this, and so I did that for a while, okay? I was putting that salt in my water, but I wanted to kind of take it to the next level because I didn't feel like I was still getting the results I really wanted to get. So I started, and I had done this years ago. I'm a Czech practitioner, CHEK, Paul Czech practitioner, and he had taught us that this was a really good option too. It's called trace minerals. So using trace minerals really was great for water. I used it for a while and then I got a mineral balancing and I kind of quit using it. But I started using this again. Now, here's what was really amazing. I would put these minerals in my water, and my water, I drank that water and it tasted amazing. I started wanting more water. I started like I would just think about drinking this water. I couldn't wait. I don't even forget to put these minerals in it because it tastes so amazing that I always remember to put the minerals in it. So this is another way I know my body's telling me that these trace minerals are really helping my cells become hydrated because my body's telling me that I need them. So really, really great. You can try that. You can get this bottle. It's expensive to some degree, but it lasts a really long time. So I would say this is 30 some dollars, but again, it's going to last you several months. You're only putting drops of that water or this into your water. And if you notice too that your water tastes better when you put the sea salt in it or when you added something like these trace minerals, I would recommend doing that. I'm not a real big fan of some of this fancy electrolyte water. So, and I think it's expensive for what you're getting. I know the mineral drops I just mentioned are kind of pricey, but they go a long way. So I prefer those over buying water that is electrolyte water. Now, the other thing that I do once a day, I do two things once a day, but I'm going to show you the first thing right here, is I looked into getting hydrogen water or hydrogenated water. And the machines to hydrogenate your water are anywhere between under $100 to literally thousands of dollars. And the research is all over the place. They're good, they're bad. There's nothing, it's not worth paying thousands of dollars. Oh, you can't use a cheap one. You got to use an expensive one. So I was fed up with it because I was going to get a hydrogenating water machine. And instead, and I've been doing this anyway, but I'm going to stick with this for now. If I get solid research about some of these machines, and I really believe that research, I might change my mind. But right now, Dr. Mercola sells this product right here. And I hope you can see that. It's called H2, and it is molecular hydrogen. They're little tablets, so you take one tablet a day, and there's 90 in this bottle. It's not real expensive either. You take one of these tablets a day, you dissolve it in a glass of water, and then you drink it right away. So that's how I get some hydrogenated water into my body. I try to do this once a day. There are days I'm busy or out of town and forget, but for the most part, I do this one time a day. So I'm getting plenty of water. I'm getting a little bit of hydrogen water as well. Now, the next thing I want to do is jump over, bear with me for a moment, because I am going to share a different page. And every time I do this from here, I got to mess with this Zoom toolbar, which is super annoying. So let me jump over to here and share this new page with you. And I'm going to review information that is on my website, always there for you to look at. So right now, this is on my website. It's under resources, healing resource links would take you right here. And then you can scroll right down to water. So first of all, let's talk about sources of water, because we haven't even talked about that. Finding a spring is the best way to get your water. Now, there used to be a live spring very close to me where I could get water. You could go collect water, and they closed it. They're not wanting people to use these live springs anymore. And a lot of you may not live close enough to a spring, or you're going to find it's very inconvenient to go to a spring to get your water. You know, it's not practical for everybody. If you're using a live spring, kudos to you, keep it up. You probably have the best sort of water out there. Now, my favorite thing to use for water is this Berkey filter. So I'm going to click on this. And you're going to see it takes you to a place where you can buy a Berkey filter. And you can choose the size based on your needs. And it is a little bit of an investment to start. But then the only thing you're doing is replacing the filters. For me, I have to get these fluoride and arsenic removal filters because we do have fluoride in our water at this time. I'm hoping that that's going to go away soon. So, but I get these filters as well. And then I do the red dye test, and there's all kinds of instructions for how to use them. And then I have filtered water, which is nice because the water's clean. Now, with that being said, let me go back. That water is going to be clean water, but it's also not really alive. There's not a lot of energy in that water. Yeah, you've cleaned the toxins out of it. And the reason I don't use RO or reverse osmosis water is because it wipes everything out of your water, toxins and trace minerals and everything. It leaves your water really dead. And so that's why I don't like that. But the Berkey doesn't do that using the carbon filters, but I would still say it's lacking the energy it needs to really be alive and living water like what we would like to drink. So I'm going to talk more about that again. Like we have the water, we're going to learn how to structure it, put those cool words on your water, all those good things. But the other filter you could get, especially if you can't afford the Berkey right away, is this clearly filtered pitcher, which you can get this here. You can get an under the sink system. I do find, you can see right there, you actually would get a discount using this. These filters do have to be replaced more often than the Berkeys, and so it can tend to be a little pricey because you're replacing these filters very often. And you know, you're only filtering that pitcher of water at a time. Or if you're going to use the under the sink filter right here, you can see they start from $4.95, so they're pretty expensive. But Clearly Filter is a good company, so it's very reputable. So that's another option that you have. And for some people, that's a better option than the Berkey. Then if we go here, we have these pure water filters. Now this would be, these don't have to be, well, mine doesn't have to be replaced that often. I have this one right here, the faucet system, and it's not going to filter everything. The only reason I have this on my sink is because my Berkey is sitting in my kitchen in another area, and I am certainly drinking that water. But if I'm washing my food at the sink and doing things with food, or I need filtered water, and I'm not going to go get it from the Berkey, I will use this system right here. And this filter, using it the way I do, I don't have to change it that often. So it is fairly affordable. So that would be any of these systems here that you see. And a lot of them are just, you know, prettier, I guess, than the next. But I have something that looks probably like this right here, metallic gray, or maybe it's silver, I don't even know. But it's really easy to install. You can do it yourself. And that would be another thing you could use. And listen, if you really can't afford a Berkey or the clearly filter at this time, this would be an option. Please do not get the Brita. And that's kind of the other, I think it's mostly a pitcher, but it doesn't filter anything, but I can't remember what it filters. Lead. It filters lead. But the Pure does filter more things out of the water than what a Brita would do. So I would recommend the Pure if you need to go that route. So let's jump back over. That's your pure filter. Now I rent, so I'm looking at these options as being really great for someone who's renting, or you don't have a whole lot of money to invest. If you want to invest in a whole house filter, which some people had, you can certainly look at these. And this is actually coming from Mercola's site. He's got various, he even has these countertop filters you could use, you know, if you want to use that. So there are a lot of filters on here. His products tend to be pretty good. I do sometimes think they might be overpriced sometimes, but I think these are really great products for the most part. And there is an under the counter water filter right here that you could put and they're not expensive, really, not for using something like this under your counter. Now, that's not really a whole house filter. So if you have questions about that, let me know. I don't recommend, I can't remember the name of it, but it's some filter made in Japan that's supposed to alkalinize the water. But alkaline water, as I write here in this little thing, is not going to get into, it's got to go through your gut. Your gut's acidic. So why are we wanting to put alkaline water into the gut? It makes no sense to me. So anyway, something like this would be fine. If you find, and some people, I get people that send over whole house filters that look great. And they send them to me. And I know at least when I'm looking for in a whole, if it was my house and I was putting it in, and I'll take a look at it. So there are things like that that you could get as well. And there's this place that I go to a lot for information called EWG. On EWG, I hate pop-ups. I don't use them on my website because I really just hate them. But here what you get is you would enter your zip code in here, and then you would be able to check and see what kind of filter you would need. And they have everything from, you can even see the Clearly filter right here, zero water, the pure right here, epic. So there are different filters on here that are probably pretty good. You could check them out. Those are the countertop options, but I'm pretty sure if you just keep studying this page, if you need to, and I would stay away from reverse osmosis, as I mentioned. But anyway, you can check these out as well. Distilled water can be used sometimes when a person is detoxing, but it does remove minerals from the body. So I sometimes use that because it's going to remove toxins from the body, but it's not something you want to stay on forever. So always ask your practitioner before using any kind of distilled water. And certainly, I'm not sure that I would buy your own distiller for your water, because I really don't think that that's probably the way to go. But anyway, right here where it says whole house filters, you could check that as well. But that's an article on water filters. Moving back to here, I have this right here. Now, let me just tell you that in the morning, I have a morning routine, and it involves making ozonated water. I drink 1 glass of ozonated water a day. Like I said, I drink 1 glass of hydrogen water a day. And then the rest of the day, I'm drinking my structured water. And I'll show you how I do that in a moment. So the ozonator I use is right here. And it is just a simple ozonator. It's $50. Now, listen, there are, again, very expensive ozonators. I know this does work because I ozonate my water for 10 minutes and I can taste the difference in that water. So I do that while I'm doing my morning routine, and then I drink that 1 glass of water. Also, you can ozonate water to wash vegetables in to get rid of parasites and pesticides and all those things. And you could put see these little balls here. One of them's for oil, like ozonating something like olive oil. The white one's for water. So you would put that in, I think you have to stay away from stainless steel, but put it in a glass dish with your vegetables or your fruits, and actually be able to create that water to clean those items. It's certainly cheaper than buying vegetable wash and all that over and over and over. So anyway, I have had really good luck with this, and I do have one of those in my kitchen. Now, the next thing, and you see where I circled new here? These are new because I added these as I was preparing to do this today. Now I'm going to go to the the second one first. I actually have this wand right here. It's called a stir wand. It looks like this. So you can see mine right here. This is it. And it is meant to structure water by simply taking the wand, putting it in your water, and creating a vortex. And you can actually swirl it both ways. I think it's a really great simple way to structure water. It sounds crazy, but it works. And structuring water can be very, very important. Now, as you'll see, this is like $89. So it's not super expensive, right? But in preparing for this video, I discovered this new structured water wand. It's called Analemma. And the reason I'm not taking you directly to their site is their site is a European site. So it's usually it's more expensive to order it from that particular site. But if you are from Europe, look up this right here, and you can go directly to their site and you could maybe order it and it would be cheaper for you. But for the rest of us, when we go to look at this one, what you're going to see right here, well, actually, this is just information about it. When you click, so if you go to this from my site, it then is going to take you, I hope this did what I wanted it to do. And it might not, it might be taking me right. No, this is, yeah, this is taking you to American dollars here. Now you're going to notice this wand is a lot more money. It's over twice what the other wand is. And this one, luxury one, I don't know what the benefit of that is necessarily, but you can see different options here. Again, if you want a whole house unit, it's going to be really expensive. And then they have other, and we'll talk other, oh, I just swiped out of that, other whole house options in a moment. But what I would say is that what I'm going to try, I am going to try this one right here. I am going to get that wand and see how it does. I was going to replace my wand anyway, because right here, you probably can't see it, but it's starting to crack a little bit. So I was getting ready to replace this, and I am going to replace it with this. I like the research. They take a year to prepare this wand to actually structure it so it works. Anyway, I think it's pretty cool, and I'm going to try that. So that's another way to structure water. And it's simply taking that wand, swirling your water with it. Easy to do. You know, I got this big bottle, easy to structure that whole bottle in a matter of just moments. So those are ways to structure water pretty easily. But let's go back and talk about, and I love this man, Thomas Cowan. He's a Weston A. Price guy. And if you go here, it takes you to, well, I hope it does. There it is. It takes you to a product that he recommends called the Aqua Energizer. And here you would learn about, and this says it's actually the first certified structured water device. And these devices are for the whole house or under the sink. I think they start here. If we look down here, let me just go to the bottom, but it's really cool. I would urge you to go to this site and read all this information. This even removes toxins right here. So it's really cool. And this man is super, super educated on water. I've listened to many of his videos on water. So anyway, when we come down here, he has all these devices. They start at $5.99. And then you can get a whole house one for a little under $2,000. So again, if you have a whole house, this would be a great eventually a great investment. It's like having a sauna, right? The near infrared saunas are an investment. You might not start out with a full sauna. You might start out with just a near infrared light and then eventually save for that whole house, you know, this big sauna, or in this case, the whole house structured water device. So if I was going to get a whole house system, I would go with this one. And this is mostly because, and I've actually met many times Thomas Cowan, heard him speak, and I think he's really an amazing doctor. So anyway, I love his information, and I would use one of these bigger devices. And eventually I might even try this one right here that goes under my sink. I think that would be kind of cool. So anyway, I'm going to investigate this a little more. I was super excited to see that. And that's why it now is on my website. So I am going to, when I put anything new on this site, because this site's been up now for a year, it took me took me forever to gather all this information that's on this site, but it's been up for a year. And when I add something new, I'm going to leave this little notation here for probably, I don't know, at least a month. At least a month. And then if you're coming to the site and you've looked at everything on it and you're just looking for new stuff, look for that little circle around that word new. So anyway, that's it, that my information about structuring water. So that's pretty much, I think I've covered everything. Wow, it's great. I've covered everything I meant to cover. So what you can do as my client, well, first of all, I want you on a mineral balancing program, but I want those minerals to get into your body. We want to make sure that the water we're taking in is hydrating the cells and it's going intracellular. And for most of us, that's not happening very well. And it's certainly, even if it is, some of it's getting in, I think most of us could use some help getting that water deep into the cells. And once you do that, you're going to start to see some things. So listen up for just one moment as I close. If you are a client and you're seeing that you're never detoxing, if you are a client and you're seeing that you're stuck in patterns of depletion, now a 4 low pattern can be a place where you get stuck because of stress. And that's one of the main things that keep people in a 4 low. But it's certainly also, it's going to be a contributing factor to being depleted if the minerals aren't getting into the body. Now, if the minerals are getting into the body and the stress is just washing them out, again, we're kind of in that loop where we have to address the actual cause. And sometimes it is more than just fixing the water, but fixing the water is very important. So please understand that your program is going to be powerful if you fix the water that you're actually drinking. And so these are the options I want to give you. If you need the best option for you and your family, if you have questions about anything I've shared, all you got to do is reach out to me and I'd be glad to work with you, answer any of your questions free of charge. You can always go, as long as we're here, right to my website. Clients, you guys have my email. You can certainly email me questions, but it's also real easy if you're here to go to contact down here where it says free consultation and fill this out with any kind of message you want to leave me. If you want to be called, you can leave a phone number here. You could also go to the question form, but this would be the best way probably to contact me right here and just ask me a question if you don't have the email address that I use. You can reach me, especially my clients. I usually share that email address, my personal email address, directly with my clients, but it is Holistic Wellness from Within, which is the name of my business, at pm.com. So just so you know, I'm going to type it right here. But you don't have to remember this because you can go here to find me. So if you want to write that down, do so. But again, you could go right to my website and to the contact page, and you could always contact me through that page. I would love to work with you and get you on a program. But when you're on your program, I also want to fine tune it. I want to make sure that we're getting to the bottom of your issues, whether they're gut issues, which I'll eventually do another video about gut issues and all the options you have to deal with those. That also interferes with your program. There's a lot of things that can stand in the way of your mineral balancing program working, or at least working as well as it could or should. So we want to make sure we're addressing those issues that might be standing in the way of you seeing some of the results you need to see. So please contact me either through here, through Instagram. You can follow me at, okay, so while we're here, I'll do this as well. Mineral Balancing Practitioner, just like that. That's my name at Instagram. When you get there, there's no spaces in between it. You're looking for Doreen It's the only account I have on Instagram. You can follow me there. I do post there. I try to post on a daily basis. Again, I gave you my email a moment ago. You can use the contact page to reach me. Reach out and let me know if you have any questions. And certainly start to pick up some of these little gadgets and these little things that you might want to add to your water and make your water more powerful. Thanks so much for watching. And again, I'm always here to help. And thanks again for watching from Holistic Wellness from Within.